So while I was trying to work on my video mapping out the fall of Assad in Syria by the hour, one of the resources I was using was Live UA Map. Basically, the idea is that it takes news articles and social media posts to try and map out events of ongoing conflicts in the form of little blips on the map. It also attempts to correlate between those to show front lines whenever possible. Now, websites like these are not going to be perfect for a multitude of reasons. They can simply miss a notable event, the front lines may not be updated as often as the news feed is, or they can jump the gun on information before it's confirmed. If you're going to use it, it's great for finding approximate times an event happens since their newsfeed cites whatever article or tweet they're referencing, but it's definitely a good idea to not solely rely on it. While looking at their map of Syria, I randomly noticed something odd. Syria's border with Jordan looked off to me. I then noticed that the eastern half of the border with Jordan was more wobbly. Wasn't this border supposed to be a straight line? Okay, the Wikipedia pages for Syria and Jordan show straight lines, but hey, Wikipedia, am I right? So let's check elsewhere. Okay, Google Maps also shows straight lines. That's what I thought, but this Voice of America article has a map with the wavy lines. And so does this map in a BBC article. Weird. Now, sometimes what happens is a border change can happen between countries, but it isn't sensational enough to really appear on everyone's radar, so maybe some articles could be sloppy and miss it or something. So I then checked to see when the most recent border change with Jordan was. Apparently, despite their borders being based on colonial boundaries from a 1931 agreement, there were border disputes between Syria and Jordan after their independence. Border disputes are a common reason for maps to appear different in one place versus another. After all, look at Kashmir or Crimea and you'll get inconsistent maps. So perhaps there was or is some border dispute between Syria and Jordan that can explain this inconsistency. Well, in 2004, Jordan and Syria officially solved all of their border disputes by coming to an agreement on how to demarc their border. Then in 2005, they sealed the agreement, and in 2006 officially did the demarking process. Now, I find it hard to believe that a border change from around 2 decades ago would somehow not be updated on all major maps by now, but just to be safe, let's check and see where this disputed part of the border was. According to this United Press International article from 2006, the border was being modified in 2 areas, Tabariyat and Khorbet Awad. Sorry if I butchered that. Khorbet Awad refers to Khirbet Awad, a border town on the western half of the border near the center. Tabariyat was harder to find, and while I still can't quite find it on Google Maps, searches for it mention Al-Tabariyat being across from Tal Shihab in Syria, which would imply it's around here, and also on the western part of the border. Is it possible there were also changes further east and this article just didn't mention it? I personally doubt it because reports in the agreement mention that Jordan acquired 125 square kilometers while Syria acquired 3. That's not very big. For comparison, the area of the municipality of St. Louis is around 160 square kilometers, and while St. Louis is a large city, it's not a large enough size to account for the wiggly borders over here. In fact, if I open this map of St. Louis on Wikipedia and zoom out just enough, you maybe see a size comparison. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this map of Wikipedia also has the wiggly borders. Wait, did that border just change when I zoomed in? Huh. That's strange. Alright, what map service is this Wikipedia map page using? Ah, OpenStreetMaps. For those who don't know, OpenStreetMaps is kind of like the Wikipedia of GPS-style maps. Users openly contribute to the borders, streets, etc. on the global map so they can update it as often as they need to. They indeed had the wiggly border, and sure enough, all of the places that had this border all seem to use the OpenStreetMaps map as their base. So what source does OpenStreetMaps have? When I checked the section of the border in question, the citation that came up was the CIA World Database 2, also known as the CIA World Data Bank 2. I've seen both names used interchangeably. The CIA World Database has been used to create vector shapes for these sort of maps for decades now, and it's quite an authoritative source. You can download the data for their vector shapes, and luckily the user that contributed to this border gave the specific text file and section within it. Sure enough, in the text file was a ton of coordinates, and the specifically cited sections represented the Syrian-Jordanian border. On Bing Maps, they happened to use OpenStreetMaps, and sure enough had the strange border. One of the features of Bing Maps compared to Google Maps that I like is you can pin a lot of points on the map at once, and you can even browse between them if you need to go back and forth. While I was admittedly too lazy to pinpoint all several hundred coordinates, I did go to the section of the eastern half of the border in question and started to pin around every 5 to 8-ish coordinate points. If these curves did exist, it would still be noticeable. After placing a bit short of 50 points, it turns out that this cited source in fact supported the straight border. So the user must have misread the source, or there's some weird glitch happening. Say what you will about the CIA, but they certainly pay close attention to other countries, so if they miss something, that would be shocking. I have also noticed that it appears the border has had some of the curves changed, which would explain why that Wikipedia map seems to glitch whenever I zoomed in and out. But this still leaves a mystery as to what source confirms this border. One small Reddit thread that also noticed this had a user that proposed that it might follow a border fence in a sort of de facto way, which would make sense since the website does try to follow de facto borders more often. While I couldn't find any map of any Jordanian border fences, I would be shocked if the border fences used by each country were zigzagging across the real border multiple times like that. In addition, while there are parts of the border with Syria that have had border fences near Iraq and Israel, there is no singular wall or fence across the whole border. Jordan has notably needed to patrol for incursions in the area in the past decade with the whole civil war thing going on. Zooming in on the satellite view, there are many parts of this border that appear to follow a road of some kind. I'm not experienced enough in QGIS or other digital map programs to know how this could happen, but maybe somehow the border latched onto things like the road by mistake, confusing them for the legal border. There's some human error maybe, I don't know. If there is a border fence along this entire border that follows these roads, it must be fairly new because I can't find anything confirming it, and zooming in on the satellite gets too blurry in many spots. In any case, whatever line it's following, it's neither the official border nor the border provided by the source in question. This needs to either be fixed to a proper border, or there needs to be a good citation confirming that this is somehow a new de facto border. I'd love to hear from anyone who might be able to give a more clear answer. I'm Emperor Tigerstar, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy 2025, everyone! Doing this channel as a full-time job means I rely a lot on support from you guys. If you'd like to help support my channel so it can continue for many more years to come, you can become a member of my Patreon. Patreon supporters of my channel get to see many videos of mine ahead of time, before everyone else. There are also exclusive sneak peeks at upcoming projects or behind-the-scenes stuff. For example, my top supporters got to see a progress preview of my North America project that I've been working on over the past few years. Another option for supporting my channel is to become a channel member right here on YouTube. You could also see some videos early there or get access to other exclusive perks for things like future live streams. Every bit of support helps and means the world to me. So thank you.